We're going to go ahead and kick it off by checking out these new home communities, and I'm going to talk about the process of buying a new home right here in San Antonio, Texas. What's going on, folks? Welcome to the Living in San Antonio, Texas channel. Now, if you're new here, this channel is all about what it's like to live in San Antonio, to eat, sleep, play, breathe here, and everything you need to know from the up, down, left, and right. Now, if you're not new here, welcome back. Make sure y'all hit that like button. It's going to help anyone else looking for this information to be able to find these videos. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button and tap that notification bell, and you'll get notified anytime we put out a new video on this channel. Now look, we get so many people who are reaching out to us all the time who are thinking about making the move, they're determined to make the move, or they're already here just looking for a place that best fits their lifestyle. If that sounds like you in any way, go ahead and reach out to us. Send us a text, give us a call, shoot us a DM, or schedule your own Zoom with the link down in the description below. However you want to get a hold of us, we have your back when moving to San Antonio, Texas. So there's so many different options when it comes to choosing a builder, and you have so many different styles, locations, areas, amenities, your wants, your needs, your requirements. So some of the builders do offer spec homes, you have semi-custom builds, and you have custom builds. So depending on what you're looking for will be dependent really on where we should be searching, right, at the end of the day. So now some builders that build the spec homes. Now, what is a spec home, you're probably wondering? Well, it's a pre-designed home. It's basically boxed up, ready to go for you with a price. Has all the colors, everything's chosen for you. It's already been being built, and it's ready with a due date for you to move in and purchase it during that time frame. So that's a spec home. Then you have a custom build home where, the semi-customs will give you packages, and those are builders like Highland Homes. They'll give you package A, B, C, or D, and then you can upgrade, or you can downgrade, or you can just keep the house as it is. And then when the house is being, built, because it's already going. They're just finalizing those details for you. And then usually you have about up to 12 months, depending, on the market, of course, and materials and the place that they're pulling that stuff from. Then you have the custom build itself. Now, with a custom build, depends on what you're looking for, what type of materials you're pulling, what custom builder you're using, and where's the location. So there's a lot of ins and outs when it comes to that, and the timeline can vary, and the price ranges can vary as well. So we're going to be talking about a few communities here, and I'm going to pull up the map here in just a second, just so we can zoom in on it. So when I'm talking about it, it doesn't sound like science fiction. You can see what I'm pointing and looking at and talking about, and you can correlate that, right? So a couple of the locations we'll be talking about today, we're going to be talking about, first off, on the west side of San Antonio, we're going to talk about Valley Ranch. That's by D.R. Horton. Now, they have the D.R. Horton series, and they have their Express series. They're inside of D.R. Horton in Valley Ranch. And it's one of the biggest master plan communities on the far west side of San Antonio. So the second one we're going to go ahead and talk about is just right down the road on Culebra, and that's inside Stillwater Ranch, and that's built by Chesmar, and that's Town Square. It's a really unique community, and they actually build 4 homes in one cul-de-sac that all the neighbors share. So you have to really love your neighbor, of course, and then want that type of community. But it's just a really unique opportunity to have a dual or a tri-level property. Then we're going to go ahead and skip over to Davis Ranch, which is right off of Shanefield and Gum area. We're going to talk about David Weekly Homes. Then we're going to just move a little inside the west side, inside Loop 1604. We're going to talk about Cypress Trails by Ashton Woods, just to kind of give you a little bit of variety in the area, not just all located outside the loop, but just showing you one of the builders that's inside the loop as well. So let's go ahead and look over at that map there, and let's get started. All right, guys, one second. All right, so here we go. We've got San Antonio. So what most people don't know, when you're moving to San Antonio, we've got what's called the inner and outer loop. So depending on where you're coming from or what you're talking about, you'll know just based on how people's linguistics are, if they're from here or not. So here you've got the outer loop 1604, and this goes all the way outside around the city. Then you've got inner loop 410. So everything inside the inner loop is, close to downtown San Antonio. You've got the Alamo, you've got Fort Sam Houston, Alamo Heights, Balcones Heights, things of that nature. Now, running through San Antonio, just for happenstance, just so that you know the geography, you've got I-10, right? So I-10 runs from California, right, west all the way east, takes a little bend right here and starts going towards Houston. So we also have I-35, which that's what takes us to good old Austin over there. We have 151, which just takes us off of Highway 90, which is the interchange here. It goes from 87 to 90, but it's basically what gets you across the city, you know, east to west in the lower half of the city. Now you've got all the military bases, which are inside and outside the city. So we do have Fort Sam here. Now we've got Lackland Air Force Base right over here. Oops. Here we go, Lackland Air Force Base. Okay. All right. Then if we cruise on over here to Universal City, let's go right on over here. So then right over here in Universal City, we're also going to have Randolph Air Force Base, which is right out here on the outside of the city. So if you're looking obviously to get up I-35 or living somewhere up this corridor, you'd get to, you know, the military bases here. Then of course over here, this is where it's all blotched out. This is Camp Bullis here. And this is right up I-10 going into Leon Springs, Fair Oaks Ranch, going towards Bernie. But the location we're going to be talking about today is over here on the far west side, as they call it. It's going to be outside Loop 1604 down Calabria Road. So what's really happening on this side of town is there's a lot of new home construction. I mean, a lot of new home construction. Everything outside the loop, you're going to see, you know, KB homes. You're going to see high schools going up, the new Harlan High School. You've got Sonia Sotomayor over here, and you've got Taft High School over here. So just right here in like a 2-mile radius, you have 3 high schools, and that should just kind of give you an idea of the potential growth that they're anticipating out here, because this all used to be farmland, and people don't realize that this all used to be, you know, wheat, corn fields, and, you know, hay fields, and now it's turning into new home construction, which is great. It's great for the city, you know. So going down 1604 here, you're going to see there's tons of shops. HEB, Walmart, here's your grocery store, Home Depot, Lowe's, the, you know, movie theater, food, shopping, anything that you're looking for is really right in a 1.5 mile shot from wherever you're coming from down Calabria Road. So going down Calabria Road, where I'm always like my pinpoint is always CVS Photo. So every time I get to CVS Photo, I know I'm getting close to Valley Ranch, and I'm going to be making my turn. So as you can see here, Valley Ranch is a really huge community. So originally, as it started to build, this right here that I'm outlining is the original portion of Valley Ranch. Once they actually extended the road over this, what's called a wet weathering creek or a green space, because, you know, that's what all this used to be. This is where all the new homes started being built, right in here. Now these right here were another home builder, and that was Meritage. And a couple other builders over this way, but we're looking right here. This is the extension of Valley Ranch. These have already been plotted out. Everything's been opened up, and new home construction will continue in this area. So there's really a lot of property, you know, and homes to choose from. So just in this year alone, I've relocated 5 families into Valley Ranch, and every single person was coming from a different place, and they just loved the amenities. They loved the way everything was set up in town, and in the location. They could get to HEB. There's also an HEB off of Alamo Ranch Parkway, which is right over here, right behind the shooting complex, right down Alamo Ranch. So you can see there's another HEB. So really everything's extremely close, you know, and if everywhere you're going here. So let's go zoom back in, and I'm just going to show you what some of the properties look like. So up here in the front, you're going to have the D.R. Horton style homes, which they have 2 style of homes. And reason being is it gives you 2 price points. So those homes start in the 350s. Now they do have the Express series, which is back here, and they do start at the 250s. So let's zoom in right here. Here's one of the properties I sold. Let's take a drop here. Okay, well, it looks like they haven't really updated Google here, so I can't show you the properties that have sold here or over here. So let's go ahead and just drop down on Moonshine and take a look at the properties here. So if you look at the houses here, these are what's called the Express series. And the reason why they're Express series is they start at like 946 square feet as their smallest property. And it goes all the way up to 2,600 square feet, roughly, starting in the 250 range, you know, going into the mid 3s. So it gives you a really good option, you know, in price point and in homes. So let's go over to the D.R. Horton ones here on the other side and just show you they're a lot bigger. Some of them have 3-car garages. Let's go right down here. Okay. So you can see the brick and fascia is just a little bit different. The lots are bigger. Homes are bigger. These all start at 1,700 square feet, and they actually go all the way up to 3,500 square feet. It's pretty crazy. So here you go. Here was one that was for sale in Lindale Springs a while back. So you can see here, I mean, they're really big homes. They're really pretty. Let's go take a peek over here. So you can see they're still building new home construction. Still a lot of growth, people relocating, still very economical to live in San Antonio. Military, everyone's relocating and looking for a home consistently. So, it just gives you a lot of options here in Valley Ranch. So let's go ahead and zoom out here, and we're going to go ahead and zip down to Stillwater Ranch. Okay. So go ahead and type in town square. Here we go. Okay. So you can see there's a lot of open lots here. So here's the new high school here. Their fields, there's baseball field, they're still building everything out. Now this is a few months back still. So here we have Stillwater Ranch, and this is where they're building all the properties. They do have one set of properties that are completely filled in, but these are the properties that look like, see when I was saying how they all share a driveway? Let me see if I can click over here. Here we go. Perfect picture. So you have 4 houses, and most of them have basements, a first floor and a second floor. So they're true tri-levels. And then you share one driveway. So, if this is the type of environment you're looking for, Stillwater Ranch is a great option. It's still on the northwest side of San Antonio as well. And there's a lot of great options there. Like I said, they range in 2 to 3 stories. They all have cul-de-sacs, so you can't get around that. Everything includes granite kitchen countertops, black GE appliances, 42-inch upper cabinets, which is unusual. They do Delta faucets over there, rounded corners, 10-foot ceilings as standards, elongated commodes. Now, I don't know about you, and this might sound really strange, but toilets are a definitely huge issue for so many folks, and I never realized it, especially with men. Like I have all boys, and my husband constantly, when we go traveling and we're staying in a hotel, one of the first things he says is the commode for kids or is it for adults? Now, elongated commodes apparently are a really big deal. Well, Chesmar happens to put elongated commodes already into the property. So quite a thing to wonder about. So everything there in a town square ranges from 1,495 square feet all the way up to 2,000. And prices there start at about the 370,000 range. So a lot of different options there. I had a pleasure of touring the location and the community for some folks who were relocating here in the fall. They really were looking for a community that said, hey, neighbor, I want to borrow a stick of butter. I want to go knock on the door. How can I have that feel other than just a regular master plan community? So I said, well, there's this new community and I think you might like it. So, this is one of the properties that's in the running for them. So while we're sticking here to the northwest or the west side, outside 1604, we're going to go ahead and skip over to Davis Ranch here. So here we've got Coventry. So let's go to Stillwater Davis Ranch. Okay. So Davis Ranch actually has a multitude of different builders in there, not just David Weekley's in there, but Pulte and Suntex. So inside there's also the middle school. So we have John Folks Middle School is in there. And it gives you just a variety of options so that the homes don't look all the same. So I'm just going to drop in so we can just take a peek here just on the outside so you can see the actual model home, 1-story model home. It's a pretty good size here. I actually had the pleasure of touring these model homes with some clients. All these builders actually that are here on this road, and all the homes they're just so well put together, so thoughtful, including Highlands. Everybody's just there was a lot of thought process, I think, in these floor plans when I went to view, including the Centex property. They have some really popular floor plans. But yeah, so let's jump out of there. Davis Ranch over here, you can see the indoor is just, like I said, a lot of thought. That's the entrance of the community, really great place. The Palomar, I've actually had the pleasure of touring that property. Nice floor plan, really open. This is just some of the builds out in the area. People, I guess, are proud of their construction and pipe work. But this is actually a new area that's been, right next to Government Canyon. So nothing's ever going to be built here in Government Canyon. So you have this wonderful green space backing up to this location. and you have a multitude of different types of styles of homes here. So, like I said, Davis Ranch outside Loop 1604, right off of Shanefield Road. So Shanefield turns into Gom. Gom turns actually right into Valley Ranch, and it connects to all these communities. So really, at happenstance, everything's like within a 5-mile radius, all these properties that I'm talking about. So I actually want to take you over inside the loop here, because most people never talk about homes inside the loop for whatever purpose. So let's go over here. Here's Rudder. I know I'm close because we're going to go over to Ashton Woods, and it is Cypress Trails. So Cypress Trails, it's definitely, I know it's right here. See, it's not going to pull it up until I put it, but here we go. It's right there. Okay, I knew I was close. Okay, Cypress Trails. So right off of Prue Road and Huebner. So let's just zoom out a little bit so you can see where I'm at. So right inside Loop 1604, here's I-10, here's Highway 16. So Highway 16 is considered Bandera Road. So it comes off of 410, connects you, takes you into the hill country, takes you all the way into Bandera, Texas. So this right here, most people don't know that it is Highway 16. It's still Bandera Road. So nestled right here is Cypress Trails. I actually grew up right in here. So I went to Rudder when I first moved to San Antonio, like 20 something years ago. And there was really nothing out here. It was pretty much just the park, Bamberger Park. Really nothing. None of this really existed. So let's go take a look at Cypress Trails. It's a really neat community. Your neighbors are close. It's a gated community right here off the highway. Let's see. And they give you a lot of options too. So you can see properties are, they're close. So I like to tell people, look, if you don't want to run roof to roof, if you don't want to be this close to your neighbor and looking inside your neighbor's home, then maybe these aren't the houses for you. And let's be realistic, right? Like, you should be picking things that are based on your wants and your needs and your budget and location. So not just settling for anything. And I think that's a huge misconstrue now in the market, especially the way things have been. Like, people just pressure people into picking things that they really don't want. And that's not something we should be doing. Like, we should be guiding and helping people find things that they really like. And I just really like Ashton Woods. I've had the pleasure of touring many of these properties and building for my clients. And the things that they put inside the property, just in the area, like the ornate details, just the thought and consideration into the property, I think it's really nice. I'm just going to drop us here onto Prue Road just so you can see, it's a busy road. Buses are touring places. So there is some hustle and bustle behind the community. So if that's something that, doesn't appeal to you, then that's something that you should know, that it does back up to a main street. So that right there is Cypress Trails. So starting the process of buying a new home is going to begin with the lender. Now, I always advise to speak to a lending professional first, as this is their territory and they can tell you how much home you can qualify for, and I can't. That's not my territory. So why do I want to take this first step? Well, first off, it tells you your buying power prior to walking into any home communities. Who wants to walk in and see a home they can't afford? I don't know, just kind of unnerve me unless I'm dreaming for the future right at that time, but then I can go do that on my own time. But regardless, we can all dream, but that's not the best method of handling your home search, dreaming. So we definitely want to go looking out at homes, but before we do, we need to know the price point and the budget to stay within. Secondly, after we do that, we want to dial in all your needs, your wants, your location, the amenities you're looking for, what works for your family, the schools, proximities, anything we should know, we should take into account, including the price point. So from here, we'll go ahead and we'll schedule a private tour of all the homes based on the floor plans you've chosen, based on the options you've chosen, the colors, the patterns, the location, and the builder availability, right? We got to work within that time frame as well. So we got to be clear on that. Time frame is important as well. Also, I want to be clear that I don't work for the builder, okay? I don't work for the builder. I'm a real estate agent and I work in new home sales and new home construction. I help the military PCS relocate finding homes, and I help with people relocating from other cities, other states here into San Antonio, and helping them dial in the location they want to be in. That's what I do. I'm here to help educate you. I'm here to just let you know all the information. That's why I'm here. That's why I do this. So this is the new home process here in San Antonio, Texas. So from here, once we go view the homes that you've chosen, be mindful. These are, again, your requested options and your affordability. Once we actually go and see the homes, we've got the pre-qualification. Now, something you should know is the builder's going to want a pre-qualification as well. So what happened is during the pandemic, people were coming in with pre-qualifications and they weren't really pre-qualified yet. So they needed to sell a home or they had to pay off some credit cards. They just wanted to lock up the home in advance, especially here in new home construction. It was really, really bad. So instead of finding out at the closing table, hey, the house didn't sell, the lender started saying, hey, let's go ahead and get pre-qualifications. We know they're qualified for, we can escrow those contracts. So they would send the docs over, give us a competing price, and then we had the option to use the lender that we already got pre-qualified for or the in-house lender. And we can talk about all that stuff. Once we actually get past that piece, we'll go ahead, and if you need any assistance in this arena, of course, and want to know what you are pre-qualified for, I will say this, you can reach out to my assistant, my lending partner. He's my business partner. His name is Leon St. Jean. He'll be happy to answer any questions for you, educate you on any process of the loan. Now, this isn't a pitch to force him to use him or anything like that. He just likes to provide information, educate, and if you feel comfortable and you want to use him, that's your choice. He's just here as a vital piece of information and education. So now depending on which home community we choose from here, now depending on when the house, we escrow it and the timeline of the build. Now if you're looking for something that's fast, most of them have a 30-day contract to close. Now sometimes it could take longer, 45, 60 days, 120 days. It just depends on when we escrow the home till the date of completion. So we want to work in your timeline as well. Super important because sometimes things take longer than we anticipate. So now that we've measured out all those things and we've chosen your community and your builder, we'll go ahead and we'll have an offer written up with a sales agent. Now, every builder does it different. Some agents will give them an offer verbally, they'll write it up, they'll submit it to their supervisor. Sometimes they'll counter back, sometimes they'll accept it, sometimes they'll give us better offers. Other times the sales agent will write up the offer and then we proceed from there. So depending on if you're doing a semi-custom home or a custom build, if you're adding on upgrades or you're changing out fixtures and stuff at the showroom, they might want a percentage more in your down payment. When we get to earnest money, I'll discuss that a little bit more. So we'll talk about that. But again, knowing what your options are, knowing how the process is going. Now, once you get past that piece and you've chosen all your upgrades and you've done all that part, we've written up the contract and we're proceeding, they're going to want some earnest money up front. Now, why do they want earnest money? Well, they want to know that you're committed to the property and that we're not just flagrantly writing a contract just to hold property, right? So any type of exchange of money always shows some type of interest. So many home builders will ask for a minimum, depending on the builder, always, a minimum of $500. Now I've seen up to $10,000, and that was because my client went real wild in the showroom, and so she had to do a $10,000 earnest. And that was to ensure when we got to closing, everything was paid for. She was paying for some stuff out of pocket. Now in a normal process, if we don't escrow a home that's 30-day close and it's say longer 60-day close, usually about 45 days prior to the home closing, I would suggest getting a home inspection, what's called a third-party inspection. Now, why in God's name do you want to get a home inspection on a brand new home that's being built? Well, I'm going to tell you. They're built by humans in human hands, and people make mistakes. People move quick. Not everybody's got the ornate detail to attention. And so we want to get that checked by having a third-party inspection. After all, you are protecting your investment, right? At the end of the day. So it can run anywhere between $300 all the way up to, I've seen, to $2,000. Now it's going to be dependent upon the location, the style of home, what the, how many square feet it is. I'll just tell you how important it is. So I had a client, even though I told them all this information, decided to forego the inspection. Okay? Well, fine. I can't make anybody do anything. That was their choice. Well, the first rain came in, and guess what? The ridge vent wasn't strapped down, and the rain came flooding in through the attic into their garage, and everything was soaking wet. The sheetrock got swollen up. It was some damage. So that one third-party home inspection, had the inspector been there, he would have climbed up onto the roof and said, hey, look, this needs to be fixed prior to closing. The builder has the opportunity to fix all these repairs before we get to closing, so you're just protecting your investment in the long run. So yes, I'm getting very detailed into the home inspection, and once we do discuss, like I said, I can give you more detailed information, and it's a step-by-step process, and it's our responsibility to inform you and walk you along through it. So prior to closing, we'll have what's called a walk, usually 14 days prior, and you'll do what's called a blue tape walk. Now, some of the new home builders are now calling it a new home orientation. Regardless, it's the same thing. You're going through and you're looking for any indiscrepancies that you see with the naked eye, something that's very standoutish that you want them to repair. Anything dented, broken, paint missing, chipped, things of that nature. The builder will repair it, and then you'll walk again, a final walk prior to close. So again, this is how we proceed towards closing. Now I know I gave you a lot of steps. Maybe I made it sound simple, maybe I didn't. There's a lot of moving parts. Either way, we'll help navigate you through it. Again, discussing custom upgrades. Now with spec builders, the majority of the builders, the design choices are no longer changeable. So once they've had it set for build on a spec home, the approval, it's already a done deal. Everything's already pre-boxed up, put a pretty bow on it, comes with a price. You move in when it's ready to close. So that's how that works. Now there's other builders that will still allow color choices, changes like carpets, fixtures, little tiny things along the build timeline. Now that's going to be semi-custom builders and custom builders, and that's because everything else is already pre-designed, all the structuring point, so you're just changing some little options. They do allow for that. Now if you're building from the dirt, from the ground up, again, depending on the builder, you'll go to a showroom, you'll pick your designs in the design center, and you'll choose any custom upgrades like the tubs, the showers, the lighting, anything that goes into the house, the color of the roof, the door, you name it. Now be mindful, I've had many clients go into the showroom and they call me afterwards and they're like, Mina, I can't believe how crazy I got when I went in there. I really had to look at it, thin down my list, make it more affordable, make some other egregious mistakes, like don't put in a $20,000 item, just put it in later. If it's structural, do it now. If it's small things, do it later. You can change out lights later. You can change out faucets later. You can change out all those little tiny things later. If, it's not that important. It's coming brand new already, right? Make it affordable to you. So now there's other home builders that will allow packages like that are pre-designed. So they're already pre-designated colors, flooring, fixtures, and then you just pick the options and the room changes. So say for example, you'll have package A, package B, package C, package D, or like some of the other notable builders that I know, they'll say like, oh, this is the seaside package, or this is the farmhouse package, or this is a modern package, or this is a traditional package. So it's really going to depend on where we go, what you choose, the custom builders, semi-custom, the spec builders. They're all out there. So the majority of the home builders, they all have redesigned floor plans. You should know that, and they will allow minor alterations from there. Not on spec though. Now I'm gonna go ahead and zip you around over to Bulverde, Texas, which is sitting north of San Antonio, right off of Highway 46. There's a short commute to Highway 281 and Interstate I-10. We're gonna take a quick peek at Bell Oaks by Sitterly Homes. Now I'm taking you to this neighborhood specifically because they have beautiful Texas rustic homes, and they all sit on wooded 1 to 2 acre home sites, and they all have the old world style feel on the finishes on the exteriors. They have big front porches, galvanized metal roofs, large entry doors, tall ceilings, real high-end fixtures. There's so many upgrade choices, and you'll have beautiful views of the Texas Hill Country. It's a really nice neighborhood. Now, just to enter the community, there is gated access, so you have to have access by an owner to enter the community, or you have to have an appointment to enter the community. So this community varies in all styles of floor plans, and you can have 3 or 4 bedrooms if you need 1 story or 2. Actually, I lie. There's only 1-story homes. There are no 2-story homes in this community. So all the 1-story homes do range from 2,600 square feet to 4,600 square feet, and they start around $625,000. Now I've seen as high as 1.1 million, and that was due to custom upgrades, things of that nature that they already added as a build plan, and it was a 3,400 square foot home. So remember, this builder has a lot of attention to detail in my opinion, and I think their layouts of their properties are phenomenal. So the neighborhood there's tons of amenities. They have a community park, playground, walking trails. They have sports courts for the kids, basketball, tennis, and they even have pickleball. What is pickleball? Well, you should look it up because Texans love to play pickleball. It seems to be on the beaches, the rivers, everywhere you go. Even in some of the restaurants now, they put pickleball in for the kids. Check it out. So the school system out there happens to be the Comau Independent School District as well. And be mindful, you do have really quick access to the Guadalupe River, Canyon Lake out there, tons of highway shops. There's tons of stores, shopping, grocery stores, all of that. Now, when you drive through the community, you'll feel that real Texas hill country energy. And I will say, if you love being outdoors like me, I love drinking my coffee out in the morning outdoors. I love drinking water outdoors. I love running outdoors. I mean, I do my Zoom meetings outdoors, all kinds of things. Here in Bell Oaks, all of that will fit your check boxes. You can do all of those things as well. So lastly, when it comes to buying a new home, many folks don't realize they can invest in new home construction as well. So the process is the same as any other buyer. However, they have some rules when it comes to the resale of the home where financing is involved. Now, I don't work as a lender and I'm not a lender, so I highly encourage you to talk to a licensed mortgage professional. You can have a chat with my business partner, my lending partner, Leon St. Jean. He can discuss the rules or areas needed. Most notably, some of my recent experiences with my investors. We purchased some cash homes and they wanted to sell them off after the repairs, 30, 60, 90 days. And it just so happens I had to remind them that if there's FHA financing involved on the home, there's something called season title. So season title was put in, and it's a result of a HUD law enacted to prevent homes that were being flipped. So folks were buying homes and trying to resell them at a higher price to make a quick profit. They put this in there during that time to protect home buyers. So again, I'm not a lending professional. You need to talk to one, but this is just something that you should know. So the seller has to own the home if they want to sell it to an FHA buyer for a minimum of 90 days. So season title. Well, there you have it, folks. We just gave you the process on how to get started on buying your new home here. We gave you some of the communities. We kept it real with you. We kept it up to date. Let you know the popular new home areas, some of the amenities, the location, what they have to offer, and some of the process that you'll most likely experience when you're making your move out here to San Antonio, Texas. Now look, if you've made it this far and you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that like button. It's going to help anyone else looking for these videos to be able to find them. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button and tap that notification bell, and you'll be notified anytime we put out a new video on this channel. Now, like I said back in the beginning of this video, we get so many people reaching out who are thinking about making the move, determined to make the move, or they're already here looking for a place that best fits their lifestyle. Whichever category you fall under, it doesn't matter. Shoot us a call, send us a text, send us an email. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back when it comes to living in San Antonio, Texas.